Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We are at J&K Security Solutions in their model smart home, and we're going to look forward to speaking with those folks later on in the program.
Can't wait. We're going to do that pretty soon.
We're joined now by our resident financial guru, John Scherer from Trinity Financial Planning. John, welcome back.
Good. Thanks to see you guys.
Yes.
Always good to have you.
You're part of the staff now. Did you clock in?
Is that right? Yeah. Make sure I get my overtime, right?
That's right.
We always learn so much from you. There's the world of financial planning is a somewhat complex thing to navigate, but you always break it down in such easy terms for us. But I want to talk today a little bit about how you work directly with the clients that you serve. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, sure. We have basically two main services that we do. Our core service is wealth management, and that's where we do everything for clients from soup to nuts, taxes, investments, insurance.
Sure.
And then all new clients start with our financial tune-up, which is sort of one meeting where we get a chance to sort of test drive how things are working together.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's great. And we'll get to that in just a second. But expand on wealth management a little bit. What does that mean exactly?
It sounds like one of these esoteric terms, like,
Yeah.
ooh,
Sure.
you know. But what that means is basically financial planning, where it's not just, when I say I'm a financial planner, people say, oh yeah, investment stuff, how is the market doing? And that's a part of it. But then, a bigger part of things are how much you're paying in taxes, and how is your insurance doing, and do you have your wills and things taken care of, and how much house should you buy, and all those areas. And so what we do is not just the standalone investments or insurance, it's the holistic picture. And so wealth management is dealing with all those areas, and including the investment side of things, but all areas of a person's life, and putting it together in sort of one package where we're the quarterback of the situation, and we interact with maybe the CPA or the attorney and the insurance agent and act as an advocate for clients.
Very
So
good.
it's a comprehensive service, the whole wealth management.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
So what about the financial tune-up? I mean, what does all that entail? That's sort of the entry point for clients that you work with.
We call it the test drive when somebody says, hey, we'd like to hire you. So our tagline for that is 1 meeting, 2 hours, 3 questions.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
nice.
so typically people call us and they've got, I've got this issue, and I think we want ongoing advice. So let's tackle the 1 issue or the 2 issues or the 3 things and get a chance to feel what it's like to work together. And if it makes sense, if we're talking the same language, then we can talk about having a wealth management relationship on an ongoing basis.
Okay, so we've talked about wealth management. We've talked about financial tune-up. Are there other things available also?
We do some standalone investment work for clients where people don't have a need or a want for the tax advice or the other financial planning parts, and they just want somebody to help them with their investments. We prefer not to work that way because I really do think that things are integrated. How can you make an investment decision without knowing the full tax situation?
Right,
How does that impact the estate planning or these different things? But there are folks where they've got their tax situations all straightened out, and they don't have questions on retirement or other things, and they just want that investment advice.
Okay.
And there's a study that comes out periodically, and it's just came out recently, and the same results, where it says that the average investor gets about 25% less return than the average investment, like the average mutual fund. And the reason for that is that when the market starts going well, people think, oh, this is a good time to get in, and then they don't get out, and then after it starts going down, when it's Brexit or whatever the apocalypse du jour is, then it gets scary, right? And
So well said.
And so people tend to buy high and sell low, even though they know it's just emotional. And so for people who say, listen, I just want some of that, to have a plan and to be able to stick to it and have somebody give me advice on where the money should be, we do some of that work.
That's so interesting because, like you said, it's almost counterintuitive. You get in as the excitement is rising, and then as things start getting scary, you want to kind of get out. So that's an interesting thing. But as you mentioned, ideally, you would like to work with the big picture because you can really see all the components of somebody's financial health. But you do have those services available sort of as needed.
I think the most value that we add is when we do the whole picture, when we do the wealth management. That's where we really provide an impact on people.
I'm curious to know what your typical client looks like. Who is your client? I mean, is it people who are 6-figure income folks, or who do you typically work with?
So the bulk of our clients are people within about 10 years of retirement, where the kids are either in college or that's all largely taken care of, and now you're making that big transition where you've worked for 20 or 30 or 40 years. Now you're going to plan for the next 20 or 30 or 40 years where you don't have income coming in, and making that transition where we do most of our work.
Okay.
We also have clients, a number of clients, where they're either running their own business or at the higher level in a business where stock options and other sort of more complicated planning things. That's our typical client situation. But we also serve, from the financial tune-up, so that's the entry level to get in. Everybody starts there. But then for people who don't qualify or it doesn't make sense for them to do the wealth management, we do have people that come in every few years and do a financial tune-up.
Okay.
And so we serve anybody, from that standpoint.
So you don't have to have a certain amount of net worth or...
Anybody who's interested in getting unbiased advice and is willing to pay for that advice, they can come in and get a financial tune-up.
Awesome.
That's good to know.
Right.
Yeah, that's very good to know. So do you have any requirements of someone? You said you don't have any requirements for net worth or anything like that. Anybody can go in and they just have to give you a call. I mean, is there a way, how can they set up the appointment?
Sure. So on our website we've got a link that actually ties right into our calendar. You can look at available times to schedule a phone call. So we say, listen, if you're interested, it makes some sense. Let's have a phone call and see if we're talking the same language, right? If it makes some sense to do that, then we can schedule a financial tune-up, and then we can see if it makes sense to work on an ongoing basis together. But the people that really fit, like I said, within 10 years of retirement for the wealth management, and typically those people have more zeros in their portfolio, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different on the other end of the scale with things. So
John Scherer from Trinity Financial, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming in today.
Great, thanks you guys.
Nice to see you.
Don't go away. There's more Wisconsin Family coming up right after the break. Stick around.